Okay, I finished this demo in class, but I just want to review a few things for you to double check on your drawing. So the first thing you want to check are your ears. Now remember, your ears go from your eyebrows down to about your nose. So you want to start at around the eye. So I start my line here around the same height as the eye. I go up to the eyebrow, around and down to just about the nose area. Now this may not be the actual shape of your ear, so you might need to make this more slanted. If your ears stand out wider, you might need to make the lobe over here a lot larger if your ears stick out, and then maybe tuck them down close to the bottom edge like this. So depending on what kind of ears you have, that's the ear that you're going to draw in. So let's just change this one for a second. So maybe my ears stick out and I still start by the eye, but I go up a little higher, around and down. Right, maybe I can see like inside the ear. Whatever you see inside there, you want to just start to draw in for your ear, depending on what you have. All right. Now the second thing is we want to do the ears first because that helps us do the neck, helps us figure out the shape and the size of the neck. So remember, we go along the side of the jawline, and when you get to right about where the lips are, you're going to start to draw in your neck. So your neck will still curve in, but this is going to curve right back out when we get back to that jawline. Okay. You don't want to go in too far because then it'll look like you have a little toothpick neck and it won't be realistic. So follow the jaw till you get to about the mouth. Right when you hit the mouth, that's when you're going to start to curve out and then bring this out towards the shoulder. Your shoulders are 3 heads wide. So if this was my head, my other shoulder would be way out here. So I'm just going to draw this line straight across and just continue off the page. Now for the length of the neck, I like to check my chin space. So I measure from the bottom of my lips down to my chin, and I use that kind of as a guideline for about how long the neck should be. You can see I made a little mark right here. So about lips to chin, chin to base, and then I can start to put in my clothing line here. Now when you're doing the clothing, one little thing you want to do is you want to make sure the clothing stands away from the skin just a little bit. So if this is my neckline, I want to have the clothing, like the top of my shirt, be a little bit wider out and going across like that. So the clothing wraps around the body, neckline a little further out for the clothing. Let's go back and let's look at our hairline. So we're going to map a couple things in, then we'll go through shading on the neck. So for our hair, we want to see how much forehead do you have. So really the hairline is usually about halfway up. But if you have a tall and prominent forehead like I do, your hairline is going to be even higher up there. So look in the mirror, look at your picture, figure out where your hairline should be, make a mark. And then if you look, your hair is going to come across your skin, across your face, and it goes to your ear. So it's almost like a headband as you're starting to draw this. And maybe it curves in front or does some other things, but it's going to go across your forehead until you hit the ear. And then maybe you have it tucked behind the ear. Maybe you have it in front of your ear, but you're going to decide that whatever your hair does in front, it's going to come to the ear and then decide whether it goes over or whether you're going to tuck behind the ear. On your hair above your head, remember the top of your head is like your scalp and your skull. So your hair still needs to go above that. It's going to stand up and away from your head. Otherwise, it's going to feel like your hair is like plastered and stuck, skin tight to your head. You don't want that. So then draw the shape and just make sure it comes away from the top of your skull at least a little bit. You can go like pretty far actually, depending on how much hair you want. And then we're just going to start by putting just some value in here. All right, we're not going to worry too much about how the value is going to be. We're going to do that on our next little video. But on this one, we just want to make sure we have some value covering in the hair so it just seems a little bit solid. Not even worrying too much about what's happening here, just putting some hair in. Okay. Now the skin, I want you to pay a lot more attention to the skin. You can see my forehead here is still completely bare. It's empty. It's the same color as the sky, so my head is invisible. I need some skin. So I'm going to go here. Notice I'm holding my pencil way back here on the edge near the eraser. And I'm rubbing it until I get kind of like a flat side on my pencil, and then it starts to be a little bit smoother. There we go. and I want to give just some value through things. And I can leave a little bit of a light spot if I want that to be my highlight area, but anything that I want to have any kind of value, I do need to put some pencil down first. Remember, the blending stick is only a piece of paper. It's only going to blend what's there, so you have to start with something. And then I take my blending stick and I start to smooth this out. And as I go, it's going to get smoother and smoother, and it will start to look like I have some skin. Right, I haven't done my hair yet, so that's still kind of invisible. But I can go through, start to add this, start to smooth this out. So I'm not going to finish all this, but that's what you're going to do. Get that really nice and smooth like you see down here in the bottom. Okay, now for the neck. We want the neck to go behind the head. So I've started this side so you can see that. One of the things you have to do is you have to add a lot of pencil. Otherwise, it'll be the same color as your face and it won't look like it's supporting your head. It doesn't go back in space. So I know that it tends to make students a little nervous when they start to add in some value, but you really got to go for it this time. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more on my left side here. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going for it. I'm adding in lots of value. And it seems like, oh my gosh, isn't that how dark my hair should be? Not quite. Because we're going to blend this smooth like you see over here, and it's going to look like a neck, and it's not going to look like hair because I'm not going to leave the texture like this. So especially along this jawline, I am darkening this value. And I really want it to be dark really close to my chin, but I'm not going to leave that as a line because that would look terrible. So instead, I'm going to bring this down, let it fade away a little bit, and I can even let it fade with my pencil so I have less work to do when I get to the blending stick. So make this gradation, and remember the neck is like a cylinder. So it's going to go from dark on the edges and light towards the middle. It's just like a cylinder. And you're probably going to look at your photo and see where there's other shading because you have your Adam's apple and things like that, and the muscles in your neck. You want to make sure you do some shading for those. So I get the value in here. You can see it's really dark compared to the face. And then I'm going to go in and I'm just going to smooth it out. And if I put enough pencil down, the smoothing is actually the easy part. All right. I like to blend mostly with my pencil first, and I just use the blending stick for smoothing. All right, so I'm going to get some value in. I'm going to go back in. I'm going to fix up this neck and make it look more like my neck. Now, if you notice this on the jawline's starting to get a little fuzzy here. Two things I can do. I can go back in with my eraser and I can just lighten a little bit here to make sure my chin doesn't get all dark and smudged out. And then I can just clean that up. That's one way to help clean up that line. Perfect. Another way is I can just go back in after I've smoothed this with my pencil and just darken this edge. And remember that contrast of a dark value meets a light value is going to give us that sharp edge, just because one's darker and one's lighter. So make sure your neck is darker than your face so that your neck goes back and your face comes forward. When we put the hair in, it's going to help balance this neck so it doesn't seem so dark in comparison to the rest of my skin. It's going to be great. And then, of course, you can finish up your shirt. This is my hair coming across my shoulders, so I'm going to leave that. But make sure your face is fully shaded and make sure your neck is fully shaded in, and just get some texture started for your hair.